Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was released on May 6, 2022, and is directed by Sam Raimi. This is the most excited I've been for an MCU movie in a long time, because honestly, even going into like No Way Home, I wasn't that excited going into it because I didn't think the trailers looked all that great, and then I was just like, I don't know, I thought the movie was better than the trailers. But I avoided every trailer I could for this one, and I was just excited on the concept alone. I just knew that with Doctor Strange running around the multiverse, we'd get some insane visuals and some insane set pieces. That's really what I wanted, and this movie delivered. I am in a bit of a time crunch here, so I'm going to just kind of run through my list of good and bad things pretty quickly. This will be a pretty short video, but it's a quick review. That's what that's for. So yeah, let's get into the good first. This has got to be the most creative MCU movie I've ever seen, and this, along with some other films that have and are going to come out, gives me some hope that the MCU is going to start letting their directors have some creative freedom. The horror and suspense is done excellently as expected from Sam Raimi. I kind of wanted more of it. Like there was a decent amount there, but I think they could have pushed that a little further. I really enjoyed America Chavez's character a lot, and I'm excited to see more of her in the MCU. A lot of the character work is pretty solid, if not always perfect. And despite what some people will say on Twitter, this movie actually really used the multiverse to its full potential for a movie that's only 2 hours. And speaking of that, I'm very glad that this was just about 2 hours flat. I think the pacing here was very good, and it was constantly entertaining, and it was consistently throwing new, fun, and creative stuff at the screen. This is also maybe the best looking MCU movie, and I thought that about Eternals. I thought Eternals looked incredible, but this kind of just blows it out of the water. So with those out of the way, like I said, we're really zooming through this. Let's get into the bad. While I did think the multiverse was used very well and lived up to what I wanted out of it personally, like I mentioned earlier, I wish Sam Raimi would have went a little more insane with this. For every insane horror scene, there's a couple of very safe scenes that I really wish could have went a little further. I felt like they let him have a good bit of creative control, but still held him back just a bit. While I really loved America Chavez, I do think that in the end, her character was just a tad bit underused. This is something that I hope gets fixed going forward, but I just think they could have done a bit more with her. And by far the biggest issue with this movie is the writing. While the character stuff was fine and the comedy was okay, I just thought that everything felt extremely rushed. The biggest example of this is how everything gets resolved in the end. I really liked what they were going for with the ending, but it felt way too rushed and it didn't really feel earned to me. So yeah, even with those issues, I still really enjoyed this. This is my favorite MCU thing that's come out in a long time, and I'm very excited for the future of the MCU if they continue to do stuff like this. This was an extreme breath of fresh air, and I loved it a lot. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. One thing I do want to mention is that if you're going into this expecting nothing but cameos, then 1, you're not going to get it, and 2, you're watching movies wrong. just go into it expecting a Doctor Strange movie that follows Doctor Strange and Wanda and their story, and don't get too caught up on who's going to show up. Because there are some cameos here, but there's not a ton. There's less than I honestly thought there would be. There's like one or two scenes where there's some cameos, and then other than that, it's just Doctor Strange stuff, and I personally enjoyed that. I think the cameos were some of the weakest parts of this movie. I didn't really mention them because they're so small. They're barely in the movie, but they're some of the least interesting moments of the movie for me. So yeah, go in, expecting a Doctor Strange movie, and you'll be entertained, I think. I liked it a lot. So yeah, let me know what you thought of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll hopefully actually have a video out this Friday. Like, I'm actually working on something. I know it's been a minute. I'm pretty sure my last video was that Texas Chainsaw video. I'm getting stuff going. I've just been very unmotivated, but this week's feeling good. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all of you guys in the next one.